Excuse me, Harry Potter. There we go. That's better. Harry Potter. I hope I'm focused. Hi, guys. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I am super excited for today's video. Today, I am going to be talking about the Harry Potter books versus the films. This should be pretty interesting. If you guys are new to my channel and you don't know, I am reading Harry Potter for the first time ever, and I am vlogging the experience. So I've read books 1 to 3 already, and I've got 3 vlogs in this playlist right up here in the iCard that you can go and watch before watching this video if you so desire. I think I might refer back to some of the things that I say in those videos during this video, so it might be a good idea for you to just kind of get caught up. Anyways, moving on, I am very excited to talk about the Harry Potter films today. Because I've only read books 1 to 3 so far, I decided that I would only watch and review movies 1 to 3, so that's what this video is going to be. Do make sure that you stick around to the end because I am very excited to talk about some of the things that I think about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban as a movie. I think that my tune about it has changed quite a bit since starting to read the books, so definitely stay tuned for that. With that said, let's get into talking about the first movie. Just a heads up that this is a spoilery type review, so if you don't want to be spoiled, click away right now. So, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or the Sorcerer's Stone, depending on where you're from. The opening scene. Why does Dumbledore need a sonic screwdriver to get rid of the lamplight? What's that about? Why can't he just use his wand? Does anybody know? Is there a name for that device? I'm sure by now somebody has asked this question and answered it. Please do let me know in the comments below. So, as far as this movie goes, it seems like it stuck fairly close to the book. I think when reviewing the book, I said that I liked the movie more than the book, at least just slightly, and I think I still stand by that. I think this is actually a really good movie, and I really enjoyed seeing all of the fun, exciting, magical aspects of the book put onto screen. I thought it was done brilliantly. I thought the music was fantastic. I thought the Hagrid was fantastic. I thought the Neville was precious. And talking about casting, I think that the casting in general for a lot of these characters was incredible. It was so spot on. The kids in this movie are so young and they're so adorable. I think that in the movie they definitely seem cuter, whereas in the book they seem more cheeky. In the book we kind of get a little bit closer to like what they're thinking and feeling, and so we can kind of understand that like little bit of sassiness that's lying in them, whereas in the movie we have to see them interacting with a lot of adults a lot of the time, so it's kind of like maybe they wouldn't be so sassy towards the adults. That is something that I recognized about the main trio, is that they do come off as a lot cuter in the movies and more like cheeky, sassy, mischievous in the books. Dumbledore. I do want to talk about Dumbledore. So I think a lot of people know that from the first movie to the second movie to the third movie, the actor for Dumbledore does not stay the same. I believe the name of Dumbledore's actor in the first 2 movies was Richard Harris, and then after that Michael Gambon took over after Richard Harris unfortunately passed away after the filming of the second movie. Both I think are really great options for this role. I don't think that I have a favorite as of yet. I will say that I think Dumbledore from the first 2 movies, so Richard Harris's Dumbledore, I think that his Dumbledore was much closer to the book's version than Michael Gambon's. Tell me if you agree with me in the comments below. I have a feeling that I'm not the only one who thinks that. As far as characters going from book to movie goes, I think that the best translation is a toss-up. I think it's a toss-up between Professor McGonagall and Professor Snape. This might just be the fact that I love Maggie Smith. I love her in Downton Abbey, and I can't get enough Maggie Smith. So I love her as McGonagall. But when you really look at the character of McGonagall, or when you look at the character of Snape, I think Maggie Smith and Alan Rickman, respectively, did fantastic jobs with their roles. I'm looking forward to watching the rest of the movies, pretty much just for those 2 characters, to be quite honest. I love those actors. I love what they did with the roles. So if you did watch those vlogs, in my first vlog, you might remember that I kind of started to tear up in the last like little bit of the book, the last scene where Dumbledore is giving out points to Gryffindor, and specifically to Neville. I have never teared up at that in the movie, ever. In fact, I hardly ever tear up in any movies or TV shows or anything like that. And somehow, for some reason, when that scene came up on screen, I started to tear up again. And I fully blame this on the books. That's never happened before with watching this movie. So I think reading the books I think it's changing me, and I'm not mad about it. So anyways, guys, prior to reading this book, I would have said that the movie was like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, and to be quite honest, I still love the movie, and I would give it a solid 8 out of 10, having now read the books. Let's talk about Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Just a heads up, guys, this review of the second movie is all over the place. I just have random little bits of information that I wanted to talk about, and here it is. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So this is the one movie that I watched over and over as a kid. I did watch the first one quite a lot as well, but this one, I remember, like, if we were going to watch a Harry Potter film, I wanted to watch this one. Don't know why. So it kind of stands to reason that when I was watching it back just recently, I was finding myself a little bit bored with it. That's more of a me problem, not so much a movie problem, but I just wanted to let you know that that might be, maybe that's something that I'm thinking about subconsciously while I give this review. I don't know. Moving on, there are quite a lot of cast members that we get to see for the first time in this movie, or at least I think it's the first time that we meet these people. First of all, we've got Dobby, which I know a lot of people are going to hate me for saying this, but guys, Dobby is annoying. At least in this first little intro to him, he is the most annoying character. I really don't like Dobby in this movie. I know that his story arc gets a lot better and more complex, and people love Dobby, and I'm sure that I will too, but right now, Dobby is really annoying to me. I think this is the first time that we get to see Mr. Weasley in the movies, and he's brilliant. I love him. I love his actor. Fantastically done. Same thing with Moaning Myrtle. And then, I don't know if we saw him in the first movie, but Lucius Malfoy. Wow, I love to hate him. He is spectacularly terrible in this movie. As far as the actual, like, art of film goes in this movie, I'm not a film student, so this is not going to be a great review. I think that the music was fantastic. I think across all three of the movies I'm talking about today, the music is fantastic. And I noted that in the second movie, particularly, we got some incredible views of the castle, which I really, really appreciated. I thought that set the scene really, really well. Something I wanted to point out that I think I probably could have pointed out when I was reading the book too. Does anyone else find it hard to believe that while making the Polyjuice potion, Hermione didn't know that she had collected cat hair? Cat hair doesn't look like human hair, at least in my experience it doesn't. Talking about some of the actors, again, Crabbe and Goyle in this movie appear to be like 5 years older than Malfoy, which just makes the whole like dumb henchman thing really funny to look at. Talking about some other kind of like dumb funny characters, this is of course the movie where we get to see Lockhart, and I believe Lockhart is portrayed by Kenneth Branagh? Is that how you say his name? I don't know. Spectacular actor. Also, he has some background with Shakespearean acting. I know that he directed and starred in Hamlet at one point. I definitely watched that in like English class in grade 12 or something. Anyways, something I wanted to say is that you can definitely tell in this movie especially, and I don't know why, but you can definitely tell that some of the actors have stage experience and some of the actors have Shakespearean experience, and oh my gosh, it's magical. It's wonderful. I fully support taking actors from stage and putting them in front of a camera because something magical happens when you do that. My notes have gotten all messed up. Oh no. Random question, basilisk scene. If a piece of Voldemort lives in Harry, and Voldemort is Tom Riddle, and Tom Riddle is the heir of Slytherin, and the basilisk answers only to the heir of Slytherin, who speaks Parseltongue. Harry also speaks Parseltongue and has a piece of Voldemort in him. If at the time Harry knew that he had a piece of Voldemort in him, could he not have just called off the basilisk? I feel like this is something that many, many people have talked about and probably debated on Reddit or something, but is that a thing? Does anyone know the answer to that? I feel like that's a thing that could have happened, but Harry didn't know he could do it, so, you know, also adrenaline and stuff. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about that? Do you think Harry could have called off the basilisk? I think probably. Also with the basilisk, there's a scene where Harry is cornered in the pipes, and the basilisk has been, at this point, blinded, and he's, like, cowering against the pipes, picks up a rock, and throws it. And then the basilisk hears the rock and goes after that. Now, if a basilisk is anything like a normal snake, they should also have really good smell. So I feel like in that situation, it wouldn't have been as easy as throwing a rock and then the basilisk is like, I'm gonna go after the rock. I feel like, I don't know, maybe, do basilisks not smell? Is that not a thing? Because I know he's blinded, but he should still be able to smell. This really bothered me as a biologist when I was watching this movie. Never mind, it's fine. Also, are there huge pipes throughout the whole castle? That's something I've always wondered. Like, are these pipes this large on all levels of the castle? Is it only the first floor? Is this a normal thing for castles? I don't know, but I really want to know. I have so many questions about these movies. If you guys can answer any of my questions in the comments, definitely do that. Let's get some engagement going down there. Let's talk, because I have so many questions that need answers. Also, Lucius Malfoy. Pretty sure that he was about to straight up murder Harry outside of Dumbledore's office at the end of the movie when he freed Dobby with his sock. What's that about? Like, how is this not a problem? How did nobody raise this, to Dumbledore, who's, just up the stairs in his office, or to another professor or somebody? Like, Lucius Malfoy was about to straight up murder Harry Potter in the corridor just down the stairs from Dumbledore's office. Why has no one talked about this? Why is this not an issue? I'm seeing a lot of issues with this. Before reading the books, I would have given this movie probably 7 or 8 out of 10. Now that I've watched it back, having read the books, I think the book is actually quite a lot better than the movie, and I think I would give this movie maybe 6 out of 10. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think the second book is better than the second movie? I think so. Okay, so moving on to Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is the one that in my last Harry Potter video, I said most people hate this movie and love the book. That's truly what I had heard. That's what I had thought. That was my impression. And since putting that video out, I've had a lot of people in the comments of that video very politely and very kindly tell me, what are you talking about? I loved the third movie. The third movie is the best movie out of all the Harry Potter movies. And I just kind of was sitting there going, well, crap. I had no clue that so many people enjoyed this movie. So I'm owning up. Apparently, I've lived a very sheltered, closed-minded life up until this point, but I'm very glad that you guys let me know that so many people love this movie. As a kid, having only watched the movies, I really did not like this movie. It felt different from the other movies. It didn't feel like a natural continuation of the first 2 movies, and it was confusing, quite frankly. And now that I've read the books and then watched the movie again, I totally see why I was confused as a kid. And it's actually funny because on my last Harry Potter video, somebody also commented why they thought some people didn't like that movie, and it's exactly what I had thought after watching the movie. Basically, the biggest issue that I have still to this day with the third Harry Potter movie is that they don't explain the friendship between Sirius, Peter, Remus, and James. They don't explain it. They literally, like, once or twice near the climax of the movie in the Shrieking Shack, they say, we were all really good friends, or something like along those lines. Like, that's literally all the explanation that you get. Whereas if you've read the book, then you know so much more about their friendship. You know that they created the Marauders map, which to me is such a huge, like, friendship bonding thing. Like, it's such proof of their friendship, and, like, the fact that different members of this friend group became animagus for their friend, like, that really goes to show, like, what good friends they were, and it makes the betrayal of Peter Pettigrew so much more terrible. You don't get that explanation, you don't get that background in the movie, and I think that is where this movie failed me as a kid. Like, as a kid, I just didn't care so much. I was like, oh, so Sirius Black is a bad guy, okay, and then after the Shrieking Shack scene, suddenly he wasn't the bad guy anymore, and I had to like Sirius, and I was like, oh, okay. And that just didn't make sense to me because I didn't have that background information about the 4 friends and how Peter had betrayed them and blah blah blah. So anyways, that I think is why I hated this movie so much as a kid. I probably would have given this like 3 out of 10 as a kid, and now having watched it back after reading the book, I can say that I'm very happy to give it a much higher score than that. I don't think it's the best Harry Potter movie, but I think it's a lot better than I thought it was when I was a kid. So let's get into a little bit about the movie itself. I know that a lot of people, when defending this movie in my previous videos comment section, a lot of people said, like, look at the cinematography, look at this, look at that, it's really, really good. And I totally respect that. I don't necessarily believe that there was anything spectacular done in this movie in terms of cinematography, but what I will say is that I really, really liked the transitions from scene to scene. I thought that the music and the visuals were done really, really well. I thought the pacing was done extremely well, and I think that in this movie, they stuck very close to the book. There were some things that had to be taken out or kind of streamlined, which makes sense because, you know, almost 400 and something page book, 2-hour long movie, it makes sense. But overall, I was not terribly impressed or terribly upset by the construction of the movie itself. There were things that they did really, really well. The CGI leaves a lot to be desired. Even if you compare it to the previous movie, like with the basilisk, I thought the basilisk, I don't know, maybe that wasn't CGI, maybe that was like a rig or a puppet or something, I don't know, but I thought that those effects were done way better than, say, the werewolf effects in the third movie. So yeah, CGI definitely leaves a lot to be desired, but, you know, also kind of a product of the time, I think. As far as the characters go, I think Tom Felton, Draco, did a great job of being a complete jerk in this movie. I really disliked Draco in this movie, which is exactly how I'm supposed to feel. And Remus Lupin, I loved him in the book, and I love him in the movie, and I'm kind of wondering if there's like a Remus Lupin fan club that I can join. I'm sure it exists on like Reddit or something, but I love Remus Lupin. I love him. Probably one of my favorite characters thus far in the Harry Potter universe. Random question, the Great Hall scene when all the students are sleeping in the Great Hall, how many kids go to Hogwarts? I've been wondering this since picking up the first book. Anyways, that's pretty much everything that I wrote down about the third movie. I know, again, that this review video has been all over the place, and I apologize for that, but I'm trying to be candid and just kind of give you guys my honest thoughts as I watched the movies, so that's how we got here. Overall, as far as the third movie goes, again, I thought it was like a 3 out of 10 when I was younger, and nowadays I would give it a solid 7. I think that this is a better movie than Chamber of Secrets, but not quite as good as the Sorcerer's Stone, or Philosopher's Stone, or whatever. Anyways, guys, that's it. Those are my thoughts on the first 3 movies versus the first 3 books of the Harry Potter franchise, series, whatever. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have any answers to my questions, again, please do drop it down below in a comment. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd like to hear any other questions that you guys might have. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do really appreciate seeing you guys show up to these videos week after week, month after month. If you did enjoy this video, don't hesitate to drop a like and to subscribe to the channel for future videos just like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!